Hello, good evening. This is a brief discussion about the paper, sociology paper for section B only. Alright, so please keep in mind this is for section B only. For section A, I'm going to have a discussion separately in another video. But right now, please do keep in mind that the first few things that I tell you, they are applicable to both sections. So please do keep in mind that I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the paper, and the first question is that is the format going to be like what we had in the midterms? So answer is no. This is the final, and the final is a discursive paper. So the format is not going to be like the midterm. There are going to be no multiple choice questions. There are going to be no objective questions. There are going to be short discussion questions. Okay, so it's a 40-mark paper, and you will have 10 questions. In the last question, there is going to be a choice only. It's not divided into parts. You will have 10 questions. Only in the last one will you have a choice. So that is the first thing. Now, when you are writing the answer, my suggestion is that because every question is 4 marks, so give at least 2 solid points with explanation and example for each. It's better that you divide the answer into 2 paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, you discuss the important point and its explanation and discussion, and in the second, then you write the second point. Now, when you write the first point, underline it. It's better you underline the important point. You highlight it so that you and I are on the same page. We know that this is your first solid point. And then when you are giving an example, for example or explanation, then you write explanation or example and underline that so that you get separate points for that. Because in the 4-mark question, you will have 1 mark for the point, 1 mark for the explanation, then 1 mark for the other point, and then 1 mark for the explanation to that point. So please do keep that in mind. All right, it's going to be discursive. The third thing is that are we going to have questions only from the second term? Yes, most of the questions will come from the second term, but we cannot ignore everything that we discussed in the first, because some of the topics that we did were extension of what we studied in the first term. So the in-depth discussion of classical sociology or basic institutions, the overview of the institutions which we did in the first term, that's not going to be there. But of course, when we're discussing social development, so that proceeds from the theory of Auguste Comte or from Karl Marx's theory, or at least its criticism is derived from that. So you have to know all those. All right. So these are the common things which I will repeat in when I give section A their video. But this is what we have in common between both the papers. Now, as far as section B is concerned, what are the important points? Now, this is also a question. What are the important points that we have to discuss? What are the important points that we have to discuss? So, the answer to that is that everything is important, and I have uploaded all the slideshows and the links of the videos in your Google Classroom. So all the links and all the slides, they are important. So please watch all the videos very carefully, very thoroughly. That's the first thing. Apart from that, some of the things which are more important, which you might have to discuss in depth, that is something that I can discuss with you. So please do keep in mind that we are going to cover all the main topics that we did after the paper will cover all the main topics. Okay, so family will be there. Family is a unit, it will be there. Now within family, 2 things are important for you. Please do keep in mind. This is only for section B. I'm not discussing section A right now. So please read the functions of the family in a lot of detail. Please read the size of the family in detail. These are the two important things, and these, more or less cover the entire thing that I've given you, the entire slideshow. Then we go to the next institution, which we discussed in depth, that was the media. So within the media, I have uploaded a video as well, and in the slideshow also I've discussed this topic about censorship. Censorship takes place in democratic as well as undemocratic countries, and this is a very current topic. Censorship in undemocratic countries is the norm, and it's understood that yes, it takes place. But what about in democratic countries, and how does it take place? So that is something that is important. The other thing which is important is, how does disease bring about sociological changes? Okay, now this is not something which is related to any particular institution, but the outbreak of pandemics has had a lot of sociological impact, and that is something that you will have to see. And on that there is a video which you will have to see, and you will have to discuss that, take out at least 4 important points, or at least 2 important points which you can later on explain for a 4-mark answer. Then the topic of social development is very important. In social development, please focus on the drive to maturity. The drive to maturity is a very important thing. And then there are certain challenges that we discussed in drive to maturity. What was that? We discussed countries like Switzerland. How did they develop? How did they bring about social development? The example of Switzerland is very, very important. Okay? Then what did we say? We said that development happens either because of trade or aid. Either you borrow money or you generate your own money. So when you are borrowing money, what happens? The lender intervenes. So what are the interventions that can take place? What are the interventions that can take place from the lender in the developing society? So please do keep that in mind. Comte's stages of development are important here. You cannot ignore Comte's stages of development. Okay, so do that. Plus, I did give you one table in one of the slideshows in which there is a comparison between the modernist point of view and the postmodernist point of view. And in a video, I have explained to you what postmodernity is. So please watch that video and read that table carefully. Okay, because we have only done, all these classical theorists, they developed at the dawn of modernity. What about postmodernity? What did modernity lead to? Postmodernity. So that is, I've given you a very brief table on that. Postmodernity is not in detail in your course. But we have to know where modernity led to. It led to postmodernity. So the table is important and the video is important, so please watch that. And here you will have a choice. You can either discuss modernity and postmodernity, or you can discuss the Islamic sociology and the important factors which are considered or deemed important by Islam in the construction of a social system and in a society for human beings. So either you can do that, or you can do this one. The video on Islamic sociology is there, and the slideshow is also there. Okay, so I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow's paper. Thank you very much indeed. Please go through everything very thoroughly.